Hi everyone, and welcome to part 4 of the Inky Ivy Castle Forest colour along. So up until now we've completed the griffins, the compass, the castle and a couple of the flowers. Today we're going to be working on the flowers down here and the berries and the leaves. So this basic area is what we're going to be working on today. We are going to be carrying on the colours that we used in the flowers here. So don't worry if you've already done these. I know a couple of you just went ahead and did them. So that's fine. We were going to do them the same colour anyway. So the colours that you're going to need in this video are the cobalt turquoise, the cobalt green, magenta, mauve, light green and leaf green. So we're going to start off with the flowers, and for those we need the two blues. And I'm just going to zoom in and move the book so we can see what we're doing. There we are. Okay, so as we did with the flowers up the top of the page, we're going to be taking our darkest of the two blues, which is the cobalt turquoise, and filling in the centre part and the tips of each petal. So quite dark toward the inside of the petal, feathering out a little bit for the next colour, and exactly the same on the tip. When you've done that, we're going to take the cobalt green, go over the edge of the one we've just put down, and come toward the middle of the petal, leaving a white stripe in the middle. So just leaving some of the white paper. You can go back in with the darker colour and make it even darker at the corners. And that is exactly what we're going to be doing with all of the petals. Now try to make the white line in the middle slightly curved. I've done it a bit straight, but try and make it slightly curved like this so that it looks like it's following the natural curve of the petal. So I hope you've all been well since we last spoke. It's been a little while. I think it was last week I did the last part of the video, but I've been very, very busy as usual, with an added stress this week that my little boy has got chickenpox. So he's on day 3 of the chickenpox at the moment, and they're still coming out in blisters. So he's got a few days yet. He's had half of the week off school. Over here, I don't know whether it's the same everywhere, but you're not allowed to go to school if you have the chickenpox until the very last spot has dried up. And he's still getting the blisters, so he might go back on Monday. It's Friday today. He might go back on Monday. It depends if he's still getting blisters, but hopefully not. Yeah, bless him. He was all right with it on the first day, and then he started getting a bit antsy on the second day. The spots were really... it wasn't that it was in pain or anything by the spots, but I think the whole virus of the chickenpox has just made him feel a little bit ugh. So he's been in bed most of the time, been playing on Fortnite, his favourite game, and Minecraft, and watching Dan TDM and all these YouTubers that play games and have really annoying voices. But he's loving it. He's loving the fact that he can just be off school. But he does actually miss his friends, and he is feeling a little bit down about having the chickenpox. He's been feeling a bit sorry for himself. But I've made sure that he's having a bath every day and covering him in calamine lotion to try and stop that itching. So he looks a bit like a snowman most of the time, bless him. But yeah, so we've had that this week. We also had Pengate, which if you follow me on, well, anywhere really, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you'll have seen that I posted a heartbreaking photograph of every single one of my Spectrum Noir and Tombow pens all over the floor. And what happened was, as you might have seen in my last video, I think it was, I did a workstation tour and I have a new desk. So I'd been really, really careful transferring all of the trays of the Spectrum Noir from where they originally were to the table while we put the desk up. Everything was fine. There's 216 pens in each set, and I've got 3 sets, so you can imagine. Everything was fine until my husband decided that the desk needed to be moved a little bit, and this was after I'd put all of the Spectrum Noirs back in their new positions. And I said, that's too close to the edge, it's going to fall. No it isn't, no it isn't, you know what men are like. Anyway, it fell, didn't it, of course, and the pens went absolutely everywhere, and it took 3 hours for me and my son to put all the pens back in the right places. Yeah, so it was slightly heartbreaking, but luckily the only damage that we had was one lid, just one lid of the pens shattered. I think that had been caught under the desk when it fell. So, you know, accidents happen. I was laughing about it. To be honest, there's no point getting angry about it because it's just an accident. So I was laughing about it. Put us back 3 hours with changing the living room round and stuff, but these things happen, what can you do? Everyone's comments were really funny on Instagram when they saw the photo. Some people felt really sorry for me, some people were laughing, saying, oh, show us a picture of your husband's black eye. But yeah, so that happened, but everything's all fine now. I've got a new desk, I've got loads more room to play with, which is great because I was really confined before on that little desk. I've got a brand new light, which hopefully is, you know, really showing well on this video. It's really bright under here. It's an LED strip light that I've had fixed to underneath the desk, underneath the top of the desk, so it's shining down. And yeah, it all looks really nice in here now. It looks quite studio-y, even though it's just my dining room, and I have a really small house, so I don't have a lot of room. So yes, this week's been quite eventful. The weather has been really hot as well. On Sunday, I think it was, we went to a park in Derby with the kids that's got, you know, big park things, swings, slides, climbing frames, stuff like that. It does have a paddling pool, but that's not actually open yet, which was really annoying because it was a super hot day, and we bought all the towels and everything. The kids were looking forward to it. But they had a good time anyway. We took a picnic and they rode on a kayak or a canoe, one of the two. That was quite funny to watch. And yeah, we had a good day that day. It was roasting hot though, and I think the kids get a little bit worn out after a while with the heat as well. So we tried to stay in the shade, and luckily since then the heat has calmed down a little bit. It's still nice outside, it's still sunny, which is what I want, but that kind of level of heat in the mid to high 20s was just really, it just makes you feel like not doing anything. But I am not complaining because, you know, I love the nice bright warm days. I hate the winter. I'm so glad that we're getting a little bit of brightness now as we come towards summer. My other boy, Shane, the 12-year-old, he was off school last Thursday. He actually went to school and then came back with a tummy ache, and he wasn't very well for the rest of the day, but it seemed to be like a 24-hour thing, because by the next day he was fine to go to school. He just, I don't know really what it was. But there's obviously a lot going around at the moment. Max has probably had his chicken pox for a good 10-20 days and we haven't known, because that's how long it takes to incubate before the spots come out. But what can you do? I'm just glad it's not as hot as it was at the beginning of the week when Max didn't have the chicken pox, because I don't know if he'd be coping as well as he is now if he had to contend with the heat as well as all the itchy spots and not feeling too well. So we've got a couple of flowers done now. Just do these other two. Like I say, I hope you've had a nice week, wherever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Let me know in the comments what you've been up to. I love to hear from you. just as a little sneak, well, not really a sneak peek, so I'm not going to show you anything, but I'll tell you about a new video that I've got coming up on Monday, I think it is. I will be introducing you to a brand new resource for colourists, which is going to be very, very useful and very handy to have. It's not one of mine, I'm just introducing you to it, and it's going to be released on Monday, and there is going to be a limited time discount on buying it as well. As I say, it's not one of mine, I don't sell anything, I don't make my resources cost anything, but this is really, really good value and very useful resource to buy, I think. So I'm going to be releasing the introduction video on Monday, and you'll be able to go ahead and buy it if that's what you want to do. But it is going to be super, super useful for colourists. Just put it that way. I can't reveal what it is, but you'll see soon enough. And it's made by a very, very talented artist, illustrator, author, who does a lot for the colouring community. She's always giving away lots of things, giving away resources, writing blog posts about how you can improve your colouring, collaborating with other artists for blog posts and tutorials and things like that. So I think you'll love it. It's very difficult because I can't say too much about it, but you'll see on Monday. So keep your eyes peeled on this channel. You can click the notification bell on my channel, and that will actually send you an email or something when I release the video. So as soon as it's uploaded, you should get a notification of it. So by now, most of you will have seen Johanna Basford's new book, World of Flowers. It's not out yet. I think it's October it's released, October, November. But she's been releasing lots of images from the book on her Instagram and Facebook, just showing you what's to come in the book. And of course, it's full of flowers because that's the theme of the book, and all different types of botanicals. I think that's got to be her favourite thing to draw, hasn't it, really? Leaves and flowers. But this one seems to be focusing on the flowers themselves. So there's probably going to be tons and tons of different types of flowers that we might not have even heard of before. And the good thing about that is, hopefully, if she puts an index in the book, which I'm really hoping she's going to do, to show us what flower, you know, then put a name to the flower, we can then go on to Google that flower, and we can see the sort of colour schemes that it comes in and stuff. It would be really, really helpful if she did put an index in there, because some of the flowers, I'm not a big, you know, flower, I don't know what the word is, but a gardener, a flower person, so I wouldn't really know breeds or species of flowers. So it'd be really helpful if she did that. But it's not just flowers. Some of the images I've seen they incorporate flowers, but it's things like shelving with flowers and pots and succulents and things on it, and little scenes. So yeah, looking forward to that one. Let me know if you've got it on pre-order. I know a lot of people have, but it's not coming out for a long time yet, so we've got plenty of time. Now, as for the flowers down here, and there's a couple of them at the top as well, I think they're forget-me-nots because they're actually featured on the facing page of this this illustration, and it does say that they're forget-me-nots. So I'm not really sure what colour to do those. In the text, it says that they're sky blue, but with us doing this sort of exotic, very warm ocean blue on these flowers, I'm a little bit reluctant to do more blue down here. I'm going to have a think about it though, and by next video I'll have decided what I'm doing there. But you can leave some comments if you think I should go a certain way with it. Let me know, because it's your colour along as well. Right, so we've done the flowers, the little beautiful blue flowers. I think in the previous video we used orange glaze. Let me just get that out. It might have been orange glaze and cadmium yellow for the centres. That's what I'm going to do, but if I'm wrong, because I can't remember what I did on the previous video, you can always do that and just make it match. But I think we just did a ring of orange glaze and then filled it in with the cadmium yellow. That looks pretty good anyway, I like that. Okay, so we now have the leaves around all of the flowers that we've just coloured. So the colours that we used for the leaves previously were leaf green and light green. So we're going to follow exactly what we did last time, which was to take the leaf green, the darker one, and to just colour a bit of a stripe, a messy stripe up the centre line of the leaf, and then fill the rest with the light green, just leaving a very narrow strip of white at the edges of the leaf. So something a little bit like that. Very, very simple. Very simple, but still really nice, 3D kind of looking. No matter how small the detail, I think it's always important to not just solidly colour it, you know, to give it interest to the eye. I mean, some people would spend ages layering different greens and browns and oranges and ochres on leaves to make them look super realistic, and it's absolutely gorgeous, but I just do not have the patience for that. I don't know about you guys. So I just try and get around it and make it look as effective as I can, as easily as I can, as I'm always saying. I'm sure you're sick of me saying that by now. So thank you for getting in touch on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere where you've got in touch with me and showing me your colour along so far. Everybody's doing an absolutely fantastic job. I'm so happy that you're all doing this with me. And I really hope that you're as pleased with the picture, how it's going, as I am. I'm always worried when I do these things that it's going to turn out rubbish and people are just going to be like, nah, rubbish. Not ruining my book with that. So I'm always worried about that. So when I see that you're actually doing it with me, it really lifts me and it encourages me to keep going. So please do keep sharing your work in progress pictures with me. I absolutely adore it. And everybody's doing so well. They all look incredible. So I hope all of you that are working with the polychromos this time are enjoying that rather than Prismacolors. I thought I'd just mix it up a little bit. A lot of people who don't have Prismas or they don't prefer Prismas were asking me to do different pencil sets in the colour alongs, which is perfectly reasonable and understandable. And I love polychromos anyway, especially for pages that have got sort of small items on them. I don't really like colouring large areas and large things with polychromos because they need so much layering and quite a bit more time taken to get it just right. It sort of annoys me, but with little items like this, just lovely, just a joy to work with. I think it's because Prismas are just so easy to blend. It's just effortless, and if you're lazy like me, then you just prefer it. But the polychromos really are a class of their own. Absolutely love these pencils. I wish there were more colours. Sometimes 120, it doesn't seem like enough. I wish there were more purples and, you know, just more. I always want more. Let me know how you would feel about, not a colour along, but some sort of video, technique video maybe, using the Crayola pencils, because they're obviously quite a budget pencil. I think the 100 box is about 20 quid. So they're actually fairly budget friendly. They are quite hard, they're not artist quality, but I'm sort of interested to see how they perform, and maybe even if I'm just doing a review on them and doing a bit of colouring at the same time. I'm always conscious of people's wallets and my own wallet. So if you want me to do anything with those cheaper kind of sets of pencils, do let me know. I might also do something, I don't know what I'm going to do, but something with the Black Widow and the Cobra and the Scorpion pencils, because they're fairly inexpensive as well, and they're absolutely lovely to use. Let me know in the comments what your favourite brand of pencil is, even if it's a pound shop pack of pencils that you've got. I'd love to know. So we've got one last leaf here, I think, and we'll move on to the berries. Okay, right, berries. For these, you're going to need the mauve and the magenta. The mauve is going to be our dark colour, our shadow, and the magenta is going to be where the light would hit the berries and you would see more of a rich pinky berry colour. You're also going to need a white gel pen just to do a few little dots to show the light shining and make them look a little bit more 3D. So super simple technique as usual with the berries. We are going to be doing C shapes on every single section of the berry with our darker colour, and then we're just going to fill it in with the magenta. So here's what we're going to do. C shape, C for Claire, colour with Claire, on every single section of the berry, every single berry of the berry. What do you call them? So these C shapes just on the left hand side of each one. So it's really important that you keep it on the same side, because this is acting as our shadow pencil. And then taking the magenta, just filling in whatever's left, making sure that you don't sort of erase the C shape of the purple, because we do need our shadow showing. Sometimes if you go over it too much, it can sort of mask it, but we do need that shadow showing there. So very, very quick and easy. And you can go back in with the mauve and just redefine those segments of the berry. And once you've done that, you can take your white gel pen and on the top right corner-ish of each berry, just give every single one a very little dot. And that just gives it a nice little shine, a nice highlight. As I said, it's all about how it looks to the eye, how the eye interprets it when it looks at the picture as a whole. If you really, you know, got down there and magnifying glass, it's not going to look realistic, but at least it looks effective. So that's how we're going to do all of our berries. Now if you want them to look even darker and even more contrasted, you could use black instead of mauve. It just kind of depends the look you're going for. You could even, on, you know, one or two of the segments, colour the whole thing in the mauve colour or the black, whichever you're using. Just colour the whole segment, so it gives it a little bit more difference, you know, so that it's not so uniform, because no berries are all uniform, are they really? You'll get one that's got a segment that's completely red, or a segment that's completely black. So we can do a few of those. I did actually do this tutorial in my food colouring tutorial videos, so you may have seen how I colour berries already. Exactly the same as this. So yes, do a few of them in block colour, just a few. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave those last 3 berries as your homework, and I'm going to be taking the leaf green and just colouring these berry stems. So just completely filling the stems. It's only a very, very small area. And then on the actual berries themselves, just putting a bit of that leaf green at the bottom, sort of the crown of the berry. Oops. And then the light green, blending it outwards towards the spikes. So you can continue with that leaf green, these stems here. And then we will, for these leaves, do some of the leaf green around the centre area here. So just missing out that central sort of arrow shaped thing in the middle, doing some leaf green around it, and then some light green fading into the white as we did before. Same again on this leaf behind. And there we are. So I'm going to let you, as I say, hang on a sec, let's just fill these in with the light colour, the light green. So as I say, I'm going to let you do the rest of the berries, the other 3, as your homework, and I'm going to get back to cuddle duty now with little Max with his chicken pox. So do let me know when you've completed this step, show me what you've done, and leave some comments down below if you want to see those forget-me-nots in the sky blue or in a different colour. Okay, so thank you for watching part 4. I will see you in part 5, and yeah, see you soon.